Okay, are we ready to start? Okay, I'm gonna give you another chance. Are we ready to start? Eso es todo. Well, let me introduce myself. Me voy a presentar. Mi nombre es Maru, Mora-Villalpando, for those of you that don't know me. I've also been on TV and radio. I play an activist on TV. And I would like, if everybody wants to just be quiet for a second, si podemos estar calladitos por un segundo. Thank you, gracias. We, as always, when we open the space outside the detention center, we always start by recognizing that we are on a stolen land. And this is not a different occasion. Although we're here to celebrate, we still need to recognize that we are on a stolen land, and we want to start by always acknowledging that. Estamos aquí, como siempre, que abrimos los espacios, ya sea fuera del centro de detención, para recordar que estamos en tierra robada, y siempre queremos empezar de esa manera. We also want to remind you that back in 2014, more than 10 people decided to come together and do a blockade outside the detention center in Tacoma. I was one of them. I would like people that were part of that action to actually raise your hand or stand up. If you were part of the first blockade in 2014, Angelica. So there I was in 2013 as an undocumented immigrant being really angry at what was happening, and then I decided to call for other crazy people like me to shut down the detention center for a day, and we did it. One of the largest hunger strikes in history as of now. And now we have over a dozen, we have counted 18 hunger strikes since 2014, just in the detention center in Tacoma that we have supported. We started as a group of individuals that wanted to support people in detention and in their call to shut down the detention center. And we had no idea this will happen 5 years later. Somebody said at the moment, "What's your name?" And we were like, "No, we're just individuals coming together." And somebody, "No, but really, what's your name?" And our dear Angelica put together a Facebook because we were like, "Oh, we need a Facebook page." And she came up with the name of NWDC Resistance. So now I know the author of NWDC Resistance is our dear Angelica Cházaro. I didn't know for years, honestly, who came up with that name. Just recently I found out. Because that's how we roll, right? We do the work and then we find out how we actually did it. And it turns out that sometimes it was confusing because people would say, "And now we have here NWDC." We're like, no, we're NWDC Resistance. There's a big difference. For the 5th anniversary, we decided that we wanted to do a name change. So officially, we're now only known as La Resistencia. Entonces, recuerden, nuestro nombre es La Resistencia, ya no nos digan los otros nombres porque la gente se confunde. But what hasn't changed is our goal to shut down NWDC and end with all detentions and deportations in Washington state. And we're really happy that you are all here. I've been telling people this is the first time in 5 years that we got this number of people and we're not doing an action. Kind of. We'll tell you at the end. But we're here to celebrate, right? Because after all this it took 5 years of really hard work for many people to come to this point of actually celebrating. And my dear Angelica Cházaro is going to help me MC tonight. We're going to have a few surprises. We're going to dance, we're going to sing, we're going to perform. No, I'm just kidding. But we're going to try to do this, like I said, bilingual. Entonces, en algunos momentos vamos a traducir, vamos a presentar en español y luego vamos a traducir al inglés. Vamos a tratar de hacer un programa cortito, but sometimes people speak a lot. So we're going to try to keep people short. Okay? Acuérdense los que van a hablar. Hablen poquito. Luis. No, I'm just kidding. Luis brought like 4 pages. I'm like, no, Luis, it's like, we don't have all night. But actually, I want to start by introducing our amazing, she's so amazing that the blue flags just came down. I was about to say her name and the flags were like, what? Shakori is in the house. Shakori Tonkara is in the house. Shakori is an amazing woman. There's so many things to say about her, but the only thing I'm gonna say is she doesn't give up, she doesn't take shit from ICE, and she's still here. Shakori Tonkara.
I know where I am in line. Hello, good evening, everyone. As Madhu said, my name is Shakori Tonkara. I'm now officially a part of this amazing organization through own personal strife. Unfortunately, I didn't know about it before that. So sometimes things like that happen, and you got to do something about it. So I won't tell my long story about what happened since last year in January. I'll just, because I feel like pretty much everybody in the room kind of already has a gist of what happened. My husband was detained in January 2018. He was sick, he had a tumor. He was there for 10 months as we were battling, trying to get him the medical care that he needed. And it just was a continuous battle for ICE, with ICE. And they just didn't do what they should have done. He has since been deported, and he was actually misdiagnosed while he was there, so we found out he had a blood clot in his chest, and now he's hemorrhaging internally in his lungs. Like Madhu said, I'm not gonna stop and I'm not gonna give up on him or any of the things that we have to hold ICE accountable for every single thing that they've done to myself and my kids and my family. It just, when you go through something, you don't really know the specs of something until it happens to you. So them not letting us say bye when he got deported, I want them to pay for that. Them not giving him the treatment he needed to be diagnosed and treated properly, I need them to pay for that. So anything he needs from now until his last breath, they will pay for.
Hi everybody, I'm Angelica Cházaro. Let's give another round of applause for Shakori. Lo que Shakori nos estuvo contando fue sobre su esposo que estuvo detenida. Ella llegó a este trabajo con nosotros por la experiencia que pasó su esposo. El año pasado estuvo detenido 10 meses en el centro de detención y estaba enfermo todo ese tiempo. Lo diagnosticaron y luego lo deportaron. No permitieron que su familia se despidiera y ahora tiene una hemorragia en el pulmón y necesita cuidados médicos. Tonight, we're actually doing a fundraiser. Part of our fundraiser is for Shakori's family because of what Saja's medical care that is desperately needed right now in this moment. I don't know how many of you have been to those fundraisers and the big fancy ballrooms where people pay like $2,000 for a cake. Anybody ever been to one of those? It's a strange like Seattle thing. People do that. We're doing our like, let's help Shakori's family version of that. So some of you may have seen, there's cakes back there. Nobody should pay $1,000 for a cake, but if you want to buy a slice of cake for $5, for $20, for $30, get a slice of cake. All the sugar money will go to Shakori's family to support them. So please go back there at some point tonight and get yourself some sugar for Shakori's family. All right. Okay. So what we're going to do now is we have 4 to 5 comrades. I'm not sure. I don't see everyone quite here yet in the house to give us some toasts to the work that we've done over the past 5 years. Tenemos 5 compañeros que nos van a dar 5 brindis por el trabajo que hemos hecho estos 5 años. But before we hear from the first one, we're going to hear from Seattle Fandango Project. Fandango Project has been with us from the very beginning. I have pictures of them from April 2014 and the driving right outside of the detention center, singing their songs to the people outside and inside. So we're really happy to have them continuing this struggle with us tonight. Fandango Project.
Buenas tardes, ¿cómo estamos? How are we doing? Thank you, everybody. We are the Seattle Fandango Project. And, you know, this music that we're playing is from the state of Veracruz. And, you know, we are really a community that gets together to play this music. For us, we practice this music because it is really centered around community. And we understand that there is no fight, and fights are not gonna happen if we are not together, and if we don't learn how to be in community and how to value what everybody brings to the table. So we really use this music, and we see this music as a philosophy and as a way of being, and the way of being is community. So we really honor our ancestors and the people who left this for us, this medicine, this collective medicine, and we want to share it with you. We're going to play a little bit of one song or two, and then we're going to open it up for everybody to participate with us.
Solo para abrir el espacio, esta tradición es una tradición que estamos aprendiendo y yo creo que de las cosas muy trascendentales es que la poesía son historias y si alguien en algún momento se siente inspirado por la música y quiere compartir, cantar alguna historia a través de un verso, spoken word, siéntanse bienvenidos, este espacio es compartido. So one of the things one of the elements of this music is the poetry. The poetry are stories that we try to share through singing, and if at any point people feel like the music are thinking of our story or something that they want to share through spoken word or poetry, please feel free to join us. Thank you.
Gracias a Seattle Fandango. Come on, you can do better than that. There you go. Gracias. Ahora quiero presentarles a un compañero de lucha, un compañero que conocimos a través del teléfono, un compañero que nos llamaba casi diario desde el centro de detención. This comrade in our struggle, we get to know him because he would call us from the detention center quite often. And the funny thing, every time he called us, he would tell us jokes from inside the detention center, from inside a solitary confinement cell. And that tells you how people in detention don't give up. And that's why we're so happy to have Luis Vela not calling us from inside the detention center, but to actually here with us to say why he's part of the struggle. Luis?
Thank you very much, Maru. Thank you. Good evening, family. How are you? Well, my name is Luis Vela, as Maru said. First of all, I want to thank God because He allowed me to be here today to celebrate the 5 years of fight, the 5 years of struggle, but I'm pretty sure we're going to have victory at the end. Let's hope that everything that we do is for the right purpose. I'm going to start reading what I wrote last night, and I'm going to try to do quicker as much as I can. So, well, the whole thing will start one day when I end up in the detention center. So what I wrote, it says, my name is Luis Vela, and I want to thank God, like I told you, for all this. And I'm happy to be part of the people that fight against injustice and against the advantage of the system on our immigrants, which our only sin, our only crime, is to cross the border. To cross the border of this country, which I respect. Our people cross the border with intentions to carry a life in peace, a life where persecution does not live on their lives every single day, where our children do not run in danger of being killed only because they do not want to belong to criminal cells or criminal groups. We are here as immigrants because we believe that our lives can be respected, because we believe in this country as a country that respects human rights. Although there are still groups in charge of manifesting and exercising the contrary. In this case, I am referring to the system of incarceration in general, but especially what ICE has and have done to make us suffer as immigrants. Such incarceration is executed by private companies, and I want to focus on the bad treatment that as a detainees we suffer from members of guards members of these companies, such companies, for example, Geo, these companies produces struggle because all they do is torture, make us suffering by then being millionaires. They are making millions out of our suffering, acting under the instructions of federal government entities. I want to be short in this intervention. I just want to say that, thanks to the mercy of God, I am a survivor of those horrible treatments that within those facilities we are victimized. It is incredible that in the 21st century, it is incredible that our bad treatments within the jail or detention system of this country. I can assure you there is no difference to the corrupt jails of some countries, or perhaps up to worse. The human rights of this country, it's against all of those inhumanities and inhuman treatments in other countries. And I do understand, and I don't understand also why human rights do not act at home to take the corresponding measures and do not allow those severe abuse against the integrity of our people, because we are also human immigrants. And there is no difference between them, you, and us. I was around 2 years and 4 months, 2 years and 4 months at the detention of Tacoma, Washington. Within those 2 years and 4 months, I spent unjustly 1 year and 9 months in segregation or hole due to the attitude of a corrupt officer of GEO. I live unimaginable torture, and the worst thing in this case is that due to an incident, which I was a victim in King County Jail in 2013, for which I suffered PTSD, and the system never did justice against the aggressor for fear of publicity. ICE and GEO knew my condition that I was suffering PTSD, because they were notified by my psychiatric and psychologist. Even then, they kept me in those 4 walls where only the person can have showers 3 times a week. Can you imagine 3 times a week? And whenever you go, they take you to take a shower, you gotta go with handcuffs. For me, it's hard to remember those moments. Not only that, but if you're sick, the guards don't take it seriously. It's amazing how they give us food through a hole as if we were, like if we were zoo animals. After many times to notify them that I have a tumor in my throat, finally, after months later, I was taken to be seen by a professional. And then I was intervened surgically and removed the tumor, but unfortunately, it didn't look good. And as a result, it grew an abscess on the same side of the tumor. It was the size of a lemon. I complained of pain every single day. I had fever. And after I sent so many times kites, I only was seen a few times by a nurse. That's the only thing, and that was everything that they were doing to me. Until finally, after several months, they carried me to the doctor, and I got back to surgery room, leaving this time the operation as it should be. In another occasion, because the showers have problems through the malfunction of drainage, due to that person, the person who cleaned the showers sometimes have to use extremely strong chemicals. And in one occasion, I suffered burn in my feet, leaving me unable to walk well. The officials, or the guards, did not provide attention as they always do, until I had to do many petitions again. I have the documents that prove all what I'm saying to you, family. As I must suffer on all those atrocious situations, now imagine, in my case, I was legal in this country, and the judge couldn't let me go, so that I could be waiting for the process with my family. Judge didn't do it. Now I'll believe what could happen those who don't have documents. Just imagine what they could have going through. I also want to share with you, family, the most painful thing that I experienced by being in an injustice way behind those walls is the death of my mother. I was in the hall when that happened. By being in prison in that place, that was torture to me. Make me lose concentration just to remember that. It's painful. I'm sorry. It's painful to me just to remember that. I also want to share with you that I can improvise here. I want to share with you that moment when I knew my mother died. I was begging the guards, please let me use the phone. I need to place a phone call to my house. I need to know what's going on. I am the only child. Yet I didn't have the chance, at least, to know what happened to my mother until months later. So that's the type of people that it's in that place. Beside that, there's so many things that is happening in that facility. For example, the air system doesn't work correctly because only breath dust, and sometimes you can sudden the bad smell of the processing machines around the facility of Geo. Imagine suffering PTSD, the death of my mother, suffering pain because of the tumor, all those atrocities make me what I am right now. I am part of the resistance. I'm strong. Thank you. I remember one time I was sharing with Maru the way they treat us in there regarding the clothing. Maru sent somebody to take pictures of my socks. Do you remember that day? They were dirty, ripped socks that not even a person who's living on the street is wearing that type of clothes. With all due respect for those people who are living on the streets, because I used to live when I came to this country on the streets. Beside that, I was a victim of receiving underwear with brown spots on the genital area, the t-shirts on their armpits area, they were yellow. I keep complaining, and honestly, after all this suffering, I was trying to kill myself twice. I was banging my head on the wall because what else you could do? There's a moment that you couldn't find the exit door. But thank God that people like this beautiful lady here exist, and thank God that the resistance exists. because I was able to get the phone number, and it's when I start calling them, as Maru says, every day. Because it was the only few minutes that I was escaping mentally from that place. It was the only moments that I had peace in my mind, because I knew that I was talking to the right person, a person who always listened. Thank you, Mauro, for that. Thank you. I would like to ask for a minute, for just one single moment, to wear my shoes. Picture yourself and all this suffering, and you'll find out how much suffering the people in there is going through, just because we crossed the border. I am not against that immigration could take care of the borders, because every country has to define their limits that way. But I'm against the way they treat people when they are detained. And as always said, we're not animals. We got feelings, we got families. And there's no way that I can stop the fight against that. If it's necessary to die for that, I will die for that. Because I know that this cause is for a really good cause. If you please could help us out, which I know you guys are doing because that's why you're here. If you help us out just by supporting in any way, by your presence, it's good enough. Please do it. Please do it, because just together we can do something. Together, I'm pretty sure that we're gonna have victory. Thank you very much.
Gracias por tu testimonio, Luis. Thank you so much, Luis, for your testimony. We know that people detained are the experts on detention. This is why we center them in all of the work that we do. Thank you. You know, what you describe is disgusting, and it's the reason we're here, and we're proud to have you working with us. Gracias. I now want to invite another one of our comrades, Olaf and Sing Sing May, to the stage. Where are you, Olaf? There you are. All right. So Olaf has been an amazing partner of La Resistencia. He helped found the Asian Pacific Islander Cultural Awareness Group at Clallam Bay Correction Center, and now that he's on the outside, he works as a community organizer on so many different issues, including the Nona Youth Jail fight. And we are thrilled to have him be part of this celebration tonight. Thank you, Olaf.
I first want to take a moment to acknowledge the families that are being displaced, to acknowledge the children that are being left behind because of the system. As I'm up here speaking, I just want to say that I hope I'm speaking from a place of community. I hope I'm speaking from a place of the men and women that are left behind inside those detention centers, inside those prison facilities. And what I want to say is that in our communities, in our culture, our families are the foundations of our communities. However, whether through drugs, criminalization, imprisonment, or deportation, they have always found a way to further traumatize us and break up that power base. And I think that's why we are all here. That's why we are all joined in celebration, because we know what that means to us, and we know what they're trying to do to break up that power base of our community, of our families, and of our culture. I'll say this, of all my years in prison, I spent decades in prison, nothing was as scary to me than being at the Northwest Detention Center. And I was only there for 4 months. Like, the uncertainty that I felt at being at the Northwest Detention Center for the 4 months that I was there is a feeling that I can't even describe. And I think fortunate for me, I had community. I had folks that, quote unquote, had my back. But a lot of other men and women, the thousands and thousands of men and women in there, they don't have that. And I think that's why our work's important. Maru's work is important. The organizational work is important in what we're trying to do. The conditions, like the gentleman that spoke about recently, the conditions are bad. And you're often, it's hard for you to see your own humanity when you got people and systems and things in there telling you that you don't have no rights, that you don't exist, that you don't belong here. So for a lot of men and women in there, that's what they always have to fight and struggle with on a daily basis, is the acknowledgement of their own humanity. I think the uncertainty that was killing me was also killing a lot of men in there. And for me, it's like I always came back to asking the question is, how can you dare tell me that you're going to send me back to a country that you forced me out of, right? We always say over and over that if you wasn't there, we wouldn't be here, right? We come from beautiful lands. We come from a beautiful culture. Why the hell we want to be here? We don't have to be here, right? Then again, I kept on asking that question is, how could I be illegal on a land that's stolen? How could I be illegal on a land that's occupied? So I think in regards, I'm gonna keep this real short, in regards to us being here and this event, the work that they're doing is super dope, and I think it takes more than allies. It takes more than people coming to an event and donating their time and resources. We need accomplices. We need people on the front line with us to fight this fucked up system, to fight this fucked up racist ass system. We need our communities, and I'm speaking to my own community. I come from a Southeast Asian community who often fall victim to the neoliberal bullshit, to say fuck racism with us, and to say fuck you to the structures that hold up whiteness. And finally, I want to end with this, like, the irony is, as my community, as the Lao community, as the Khmer community, as the Viet community, celebrate our New Year's, which is one of the biggest things in our communities, there's men and women from my community right now that are being in the process of being separated from their families, that are facing that uncertainty of never seeing their kids, their children, or their homes ever again, and being sent to a country that they probably don't know. So that's why I'm up here. I'm up here speaking for them, for the men that are still inside, for the women that are still inside. And I just want to give a shout out to my boy Chuck. Chuck is somebody I met while I was in there. Chuck's been in the Northwest Detention Center for 6 damn years. And I want to say this, is that his fight is our fight, and his fight is for his family, right? His fight is for his family, for all his kids, his mom, his sisters, his aunts, his fathers, uncles. That's the only reason why he's in there, and that's the reason why he still continues to fight this system, and he hasn't give up. So I think it's important for us to acknowledge that, to hold that, and fight that with them. I think, but finally, I'm going to end and say that, yeah, we all need together to be able to say, fuck white supremacy, fuck racism, and let's decenter ourselves from whiteness. Thank you.
Voy a intentar hacer un resumen de las palabras de Olof. Básicamente, Olof compartió con nosotros que quiere asegurar que correspondamos a todas las familias, a los niños que están siendo desplazados por estos sistemas que existen. Él viene a hablar por su comunidad, hombres y mujeres que también se han quedado en las prisiones, en los diferentes centros de detención. Básicamente el sistema nos está traumatizando. Estamos aquí porque sabemos que no podemos regresar. Él estuvo detenido por varias décadas en prisión y sin embargo el lugar más horrible que enfrentó fue el centro de detención, aunque estuvo ahí por 4 meses. Y no puede describir qué tan terrible fue porque era la incertidumbre de no saber qué iba a pasar consigo. De esa manera es la misma que están viendo otras familias hasta hoy día. Y una de las cosas principales que él comentó fue precisamente el preguntarse por qué lo van a sacar a un país de donde fue originalmente forzado. ¿Cómo puede ser alguien ilegal en una tierra que ha sido robada y ocupada? Necesitamos más que aliados, necesitamos más que recursos, necesitamos gente que realmente sean cómplices con nosotros para pelear este sistema racista. Necesitamos comunidad, necesitamos pelear y mandar a la chingada al racismo, a las estructuras blancas, a la supremacía blanca. Gracias, Solo. That was my favorite part to translate. Now, I want to introduce a comrade, an accomplice of mine that I know for many, many years. We met when I didn't have gray hair. That's how long we have known each other. Jill has been an amazing inspiration in my work. Jill has been there in very, very difficult moments. We met in a phase of our lives that we were trying to understand what was happening to organizing in the Seattle area, and we both escaped from the structure organizing of the nonprofit industrial complex. So Jill Mangaliman.
Thank you, Maru. I first of all, I really want to thank you, Maru, who I see as my movement mom, and also Josefina, who is my movement sister. I've learned so much from you both over the last 10 years, and yeah, I'm happy to call you comrade, family. Also to La Resistencia for all that you do. I think what you've done the most is really, build the courage of our people to stand fearless in front of the oppressive system. This is a system called imperialism, the system that the US is #1 and will do anything it takes to stay that way. Olaf touched upon this, on how they're destroying our homelands around the world, multinational corporations, as well as the military. And then, not only are they forcing our people to leave their homes, our beautiful homes, and destroying the environment and everything they hold dear, they're separating families, and then putting people in cages and torturing them when they come here. All in all, this is at the heart of our work, right? This movement is fighting this injustice, what we say in Bayan is the #1 terrorist is US imperialists, right? And I come here as God Green, as an environmental justice activist, as Bayan, an anti-imperialist, as a Gabriela, as a Filipino Pinay, whose family, had to leave the Philippines because of martial law. I come with all these because I've never had to, in this movement space, I've never had to choose. And we shouldn't have to be, separating our lives, breaking our lives together, because that's what our system wants us to do. They want us to break apart. They want us to be afraid. But what I've seen from our mobilizations together, and we've been in a lot of mobilizations, and whether it's May Day, whether it's fighting Shell, whether it's being at the detention center, you know, blocking buses, yelling, "You're not alone. No están stomas, no están estoros," right? No hay más. I learned a lot of Spanish by being part of your mobilization. Still learning. And it is how do we fight this system that creates this pipeline, right? We say no pipelines of any kind in Got Green, no frack gas, no prison pipeline, no pipeline to deportation or detention. Right? None of these should ever exist, and yet our politicians, our system are constantly creating these pipelines, tearing apart our communities, poisoning our communities, further ripping us apart. Not only should we abolish pipelines, we should abolish ICE, we should abolish prisons, we should abolish fossil fuels. In fact, we should stop the US empire from spreading its tentacles around the country because it's killing our Mother Earth, it's killing our people. There's so much work to be done, but because of the space, this movement that we're creating together, this movement family that we're creating together, I believe we're strong enough to win. You know, and I'm not afraid. After being part of this movement with you all, seeing this room, I know that we can win. I know we can win against the US imperialists. I know we can win against ICE and GEO. I know we can win against capitalism and white supremacy. There's nothing we can't do. We just gotta stick together. We can fight together. There's that chant, right? The people united will never be defeated. In Tagalog, it's Antayo ang bayan, nayon na luna laban. In Spanish, let me get this right. Un pueblo unido jamás será vencido. Right? And that's why we have to fight. And that's why we're also celebrating, because it's so hard to fight every day. This is why I'm filled with joy being in this room with you all, with this music, with this love. Because we have 5 years, we have 10 more years, we have more time we have to continue the fight. And even if we're not here tomorrow, people will continue the fight. And so I thank you all. I thank the resistance. I thank everyone. Let's keep on fighting.
All right, everybody, you're sticking with us. I love it. If you haven't gotten your $20 slice of cake, this is the time to do that. Sugar up, $5, $10, whatever you can give. Money goes to support Shakori's family. Lo que nos dijo la compañera Jill es que ella considera a Maru como su madre en este movimiento, a Josefina como su hermana en este movimiento, la ha enseñado muchísimo, nos recordó que este sistema que estamos luchando contra no solo es el sistema de deportación, sino es un sistema de imperialismo global, que realmente es el imperialismo global el que nos está chingando. Entonces que vamos a seguir la lucha contra todas las tuberías que llevan a nuestra gente a la cárcel, al centro de detención, de las escuelas a las cárceles, y que juntos, realmente ella pues sabe que podemos ganar, que vamos a seguir la lucha todos juntos. Entonces muchas gracias, Jill. All right. We have one more speaker tonight. I am so excited to introduce to you all Isa Noyola from Mi Gente. All right. So Isa is one of the many people who came from out of town to join us tonight. I know we have people from across the state, from Mount Vernon, people who drove here from Forks, from all over the state, because this is a statewide movement, and Isa is part of a national organization that has been central to supporting our work. So thank you, Isa Noyola.
A ver, ¿somos la resistencia? ¿Somos la resistencia? Claro que sí, claro que sí. I'm just so deeply honored, I'm deeply moved. Es un honor estar aquí con ustedes, compartiendo el espacio. Quiero en este momento que respiren. vean alrededor, miren quién está a su lado, miren los rostros alrededor, porque este momento es importante. Las personas indicadas en este momento están aquí, en esta noche. So I just want to invite community to soak in this moment, look around you, look at the faces of community, of the loved ones, of why we fight so hard, of why we care so much, and just soak it in. Because the people that are here in this moment, in this building, in this space, in this event, are the people that need to be here tonight. This is why we fight so hard. This is why we resist so hard. And I've been around the country, similar events with our comrades, with our beloveds, with our community who are fighting tooth and nail, who are fighting day in and day out to end contracts with ICE, to shut down detention centers, to free our folks, to offer support, offer housing, offer a meal, offer a visit. Around this country, our people are doing the damn thing. Our people are resisting. Our people are loving each other through so much intolerance and through so much hate, que en este momento nuestras comunidades, nuestra gente alrededor de este país, estamos resistiendo, nos estamos amando, nos estamos enfrentando a un momento difícil, que este momento en luchar contra en contra de ICE, en contra de las violaciones de derechos humanos, y estamos formando comunidad, porque eso es lo que nos requiere en este momento. En este momento no somos, nos requieren muchos, sino mucho de nuestra persona individual, ¿verdad? Que no somos es el volumen de gente, sino es el deber de adentro que tenemos, ¿verdad? Es la lucha, la resistencia, la energía que tenemos adentro. That this moment is not just calling for more of us in terms of people, but it's calling more of us from inside. It's calling more of us to show up in a fuller way, right? And that's why this moment is a part of the resistance. This moment of joy, this moment of dancing, this moment of sharing food, this moment of laughing, of conversation, of relationship is so critical to the whole process of why we do what we do. And I just want to give it up and this toast and this moment to the women of color organizers who are leading this work. Who are leading this work. So much of this work is on the backs of women of color in this country, all around us, everywhere I go. The ones that are behind the scenes, the ones that are servicing with so much heart and so much intention, and see the community and see all the needs of the community. Que en este momento quiero honrar y reconocer la mujer que está enfrente de esta pelea, que está enfrente de esta lucha, que cada día no se reconoce esa lucha y se esmera cada día para luchar por cada persona, no son más para su familia, sino para toda la comunidad. So I just want to end, of course, with the chant. Of course. And when I say, so it's going to be a call response, so I'm going to say something, you're going to say, sí, okay? Let's practice. Sí. Okay. So la resistencia está adentro. Sí. La resistencia está afuera. Sí. La resistencia está alrededor. Sí. Gracias.
Mil gracias a Isa. Thank you so much, Isa. I also want to give shout outs to Daniel, to Olga, to Manuel, people who have been detained and are here with us, have survived that place, and are members of La Resistencia and are celebrating with us tonight. All right, so this is the last part of the program. Stretch it out, get ready. So when I think of La Resistencia, of the work that we're doing, I think of the words of freedom fighter Amilcar Cabral. Tell no lies. Claim no easy victories. People detained have literally put their lives on the line over and over, starving themselves and putting themselves at risk for brutal retaliation in order to expose the detention center. They are, as I said before, the world's leading experts on what happens at the Northwest Detention Center. And it is our duty and our honor to expose them, to expose GEO, to expose ICE. It is our duty and our honor to expose the ways that our state and county officials are complicit with Trump's deportation agenda. Tell no lies. It would be easy to look around today to see all the beautiful energy and the joy in this room and to claim victory. I am really often tempted to do that, to ignore Cabral's warning and claim some easy victories. Earlier this week, when the King County executive announced that he was looking to end deportation flights out of Boeing Field, the easy move would have been to put out a press release praising this and claiming a victory, given how we know that our efforts pressured him into doing anything at all. But we know better. We all know better. Promises. And realize that Dow wasn't going to end the contract with the airlines that deport migrants and that shuttle those that just arrived at the border yesterday up to be detained here at the Northwest Detention Center. He simply was saying he was planning not to renew a 35-year lease. We can't wait 35 years. This was not yet a victory. So instead, we put the pressure on the county and we're going to keep it on. There will come a day, I hope in the near future, when we are ready to claim victory. It will not have been an easy victory. The closure of the Northwest Detention Center, the end of detention and deportation in this state, will be due to the sacrifice of Shakori's husband, will be due to the sacrifice of Amar Mergansana, who gave his life, who died after 86 days on hunger strike. It will be due to the sacrifice of Maru and Josefina, of everyone who has gotten together to push back on ICE no matter what the personal risk. It will be due to the sacrifice and the struggle of everyone in this room, because all of you are now part of this movement. Some of you have been with us from the first day. Some of you may be showing up tonight, but you're here and you're ours now. You're welcome. We will claim no easy victories because we are waiting to claim the big ones. The end of deportation flights, the end of collaboration between state officials and ICE, the end of ICE raids in our state, and the closure forever of the Northwest Detention Center. So, starting from a random Facebook group that I helped start, our movement has clearly grown tremendously in the past 5 years. And budget-wise, we make a lot happen with very little. But we do have expenses. The bulk of the money that we get from selling T-shirts, from you all buying tickets tonight, from random checks we sometimes get in the mail, goes to pay stipends for our organizers, as well as to give material support to people inside, phone cards, money for the commissary, to help people survive and organize, to live another day in that terrible place. We also pay for a small office and the expenses that go along with that space. We do so much more than I ever thought possible 5 years ago, with very little money. But we still need to raise that money. So at this point, more than half of our budget comes from grassroots fundraising. I think it's here can reach out and give an extra 20 bucks. If you can't do that, great. Maybe the person next to you will give 30 and you can give 10. It'll all balance out in the end. So I'm hoping that you will reach and make that gift that is meaningful to you. And I'm also going to ask for a second ask because, again, we were not going to claim any easy victories, and this is going to be an ongoing fight. So I would love if at least half of you here tonight left signing up to be monthly donors. I would love if each of us, if we were having this party every month, but what if you just had your own party in your house every month when you sent us $20? Just think about it, think about it. What if you got together with your new friends here and had a little party to celebrate that the $10 you'd pledged tonight to give monthly until we shut down the detention center had just come out of your bank account? So please, please sign up. That will help us very much as well. You should have an envelope right now. Am I lying? Have the envelopes gone out? Let's see. Can you hold up your envelopes? Can you just wave it in the air? All right, you got some pens? All right, well, you all are going to have a good time filling out those envelopes because I am going to welcome back the Seattle Fandango Project to play a couple of songs while we get those envelopes nice and filled out. Thank you all so much. Hasta la victoria.
Okay, so we're gonna sing the last one. It's called La Bamba. And before coming here, we got together in Amelia's house to rehearse a little bit. And we came out with a estribillo that we thought it was going to be appropriate for this event. So the estribillo, we want to practice it with you. If you want to help us sing together. So we're going to sing a verse, and after the verse, there's another chorus that we call the estribillo. And the estribillo goes like this. Si tú estás detenido, te apoyaré, te apoyaré. Okay? So I'm going to sing, let's practice it, and then we go out together.
Oh my God. I think that's right.
It means if you're detained, I will support you, I will support you.
Se están divirtiendo. Están bailando. Bueno, gracias tanto a Fandango Project. ¡Chinga la migra! ¡Chinga la migra! Come on up here for a group photo if you're lingering in the back. ¡Resistencia!